Well, we've got a bit of a cold snap like most of the rest of the country's got. We were down to 22 last night. That's the coldest we've been, but we're at about 48 hours of below freezing. We get times that we get that for a couple of weeks. And then we get years we never have 24-hour freeze. So it's always a scramble to get around and get things set up for things to stay frozen. And here in the pavilion, all the rabbits have Crocs. And so you can add a little bit of water to that a couple times a day and they'll learn really fast to come drink it if they're thirsty. The other thing is rabbits can lick ice. You know, you go up into the mountains right now or go into North Dakota, it's been frozen solid long enough. The rabbits that are there and out running around don't have running water to get to. They eat snow and lick ice. So we just try to get out to these guys a couple times a day and get a little top off on the water. We've now had our temperature come up. We're about 33. The ice isn't melting much, but this ground that was easy to walk on this morning because it had some ice pellets in it and then a little freezing rain, it's now slicker than hell on top. It's just melted just enough to be an ice rink. So as you might see by the tracks, I dug out my old logging boots so I can walk around out here without falling down. But I wanted to explain a little of my recirculating system, which has made it through this whole thing without any trouble. It's still running water. So there's a pipe that runs across the back of all these hutches, and typically it just has pressure on it and it ends right up here. Now I also have a line that for my cooling system in the summertime comes out and runs through all of these copper tubes that are in the cages to cool them down when it's hot. So for this system, I actually hooked that line up to a pump that pumps the water out of a trough and then back down this line, and then it recirculates back into the tank. The way we're set up here, I've got two systems doing it. So I'm going two directions, so it's a little more confusing than the one at my other barn. So the doe barn in here is fairly well insulated, so I keep it closed up with a heater running in it. We've got a problem at this end of my circulating system that this doesn't circulate right here. Okay, just the end of this doesn't. The circulation goes that way. So we just put a small heater down here at this end, keep the door closed, and all of this stays thawed, even at 22 degrees. So the other line coming out, this hose is coming out of my pump, and it hooks in here, so I can bypass and shut down most of my other main water system out there so it doesn't break. And then it goes right into the doe barn, which is a heated area. So it helps keep that water warm, and then it comes through here, out through these cages, and at the end of this, which is normally a dead end when it's under pressure, I've got a hose that brings it back to the tank. So we'll go in here and take a look at the tank. So I've got a water trough sitting in here. I've actually made a hokey little box with insulation right underneath of the greenhouse bench, and I have a heater that sits back in under this other side over here and keeps that warm air moving around this trough. It's up on a pallet so it's not on the ground, and then the water circulates back. So here's the green hose coming from one end. This hose here comes back from the ones that were outside. You can see it's flowing nicely, and if I can keep this warmed and that water moving, it won't freeze up even at 22 degrees. Now my whole water where my water comes in here is all insulated and wrapped up. I tried to get video of me doing that the other day, but my camera wouldn't work. So tomorrow I'll be able to turn the water back on. Till then, I'm packing water and putting it in the trough. But this takes care of the majority of our rabbits, to keep water on them. So I still got to pack water to the chickens and pack water to the mules, but this takes care of a heck of a portion of it. And not just packing water to them, but I would have to come in and put Crocs, water Crocs, in every one of these cages that doesn't have one. And I have enough to do that, but it's just a lot of work to go through and put all those in for a couple of days of freeze. It was a lot of work to set this up for a couple of days of freeze also. But the other thing that we use it for is if Susan wants to medicate the entire herd, she can do that. She figures out the rate that she needs to put in here. We know the volume of water that goes in the tank, and bang, everybody's got it. So this is a pretty handy setup. And if I was on a city water, not a well, I would have something just like this set up for that cooling system out there, where I could put water in here, drop in some blocks of ice in the morning, have it kick on a timer, and just pump water through those copper cooling deals, and not have to use as much water. I'm on a well, so I can use the water without costing me an arm and a leg. So anyway, that's our water system. So the one out in this barn doesn't have to be as big. There aren't as many rabbits out here. And I just have a tank heater in it. It's not an insulated spot. And I have, again, you can see water coming in from two places. When I built this and hung these cages, I built that return system in. So you can see the pipe in the back there with the nipple on it. Underneath of it, well, you can see it right there, is a return pipe. And so this water was designed to be able to set that circulating system up. The issue, like we saw the other day in the freeze, is this one that sticks out here. Well, this time I just shut it off and put Crocs in them. So that works for that one. Then, of course, nothing stays as planned. So this area that then I tapped into the line here and brought it into this area to water stuff. Well, it's on a dead end also, except that I put a hose bib here on this end of it so I could tap in, and then I just bring in this garden hose and it comes back. And Susan insulated it all out here in the weather, which didn't hurt anything. I don't think it was needed, but didn't hurt anything. So then that water line comes back, and it's the hose we saw in here. It's coming back from that room. This pipe is right where the water comes in, and I can shut it off and have a tap right here. But when I pump, the pump that's down inside there pumps it in to my return line, and then it ends up coming back on the main. So it's a heck of a system to keep things from freezing up. I don't know if it would do, 0 degrees for 3 weeks. I would probably have to have a better source of heating the water also. But this, like I said, we've been almost 48 hours of freeze, the coldest down to 22 degrees, and it stayed working. So if this can help some of you guys get set up so you don't put so much energy into watering the rabbits when it gets cold, that'd be great. Glad it helps you.